Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So good morning. Welcome to another market open stream. There is the market bell. We can't get started without the market bell. And today, things are looking hot, looking good. Bitcoin breaks through. It's a crucial resistance. And the entire crypto space is pumping, going up, including one major pump with Gala Games, so I have to talk about that. But overall, we are off to a very good week. So let's get started. Welcome. Let me fix this real quick. Right now, Bitcoin is at 17.2. Ever since last night, it started inching up. And we finally broke through that 17,000 resistance that's been holding us back for nearly a month. So now we are looking like we're ready to go. An entire market cap of crypto has exploded up in a big way. We're talking about Ethereum up almost 5%, BNB 6%, Cardano 12% nearly, Doge 7, Polygon 7, Solana up 20%. Cosmos, some of our favorite projects are coming back to life. That is what we want to see, right? And more on that in a little bit. But what's going on in the U.S. market? Right now, U.S. market is opening up green. This is good. We want to see some green, right? But the big thing that's coming is Thursday, CPI. CPI data is coming out Thursday. I am looking forward to it. I believe it's going to show that U.S. inflation has dropped more. Overall inflation, headline inflation, and core inflation are both going to go down. And that's why I believe there's a lot of enthusiasm, because if both go down, that means Fed Chair Powell has to become more dovish, right? There's no reason to continue to be very hawkish if inflation is coming down. So we'll see. But tomorrow he's also giving a speech. I don't know what about, but probably about the economy. So tomorrow there's speech. Thursday is CPI data, and there's a few other stuff that's coming out, including bank earnings. Banks, this will be interesting. I don't know how banks will be, but if this is any indication, it's not going to be good. The Swiss Central Bank posts the biggest loss in its 160-year history. Not that that's funny, but 143 billion loss. This is from the Central Bank of Switzerland. You know, central banks, they're supposed to be the smartest banks out there, right? You know, they should know what they're doing. But apparently not. And I was not aware of this, but usually they make some kind of payment to the Swiss government if they are making money. But not this year, because they have lost $143 billion, right? So I don't know if this is a precursor to what we're going to expect in the U.S. here, because all the major banks will be reporting. Goldman, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, everyone's going to be reporting. So we'll see what happens. Now, just some quick crypto news. It does seem like there's a lot of interested parties in FTX, at least parts of FTX. 117 companies are they're digging for treasure right now. They want to buy up different divisions of FTX, like FTX Japan, also FTX owned Ledger X, which is a derivatives exchange. So there's a lot of parties. And of course, Binance is trying to buy Binance.us, or no, they're trying to. I don't know if that's going to happen, but they're trying to buy Voyager from FTX.us. And the SEC has said no to that. They're trying to block it. I don't know if they're going to be successful, but it does seem like there's a lot of interest in some of these smaller pieces. But here, this is kind of shocking. FTX spent, SBF, Caroline, Gary, and everyone else spent $40 million on food, flights, and hotel in just 9 months. That's a lot. This is not buying extravagant I don't know, extravagant, real estate, which he did, of course, close to $300 million worth. But this is just on food, flights, and hotels, including hiring a private jet to fly Amazon deliveries from Miami to the Bahamas, because Amazon doesn't deliver to Bahamas. So they had a private jet just to ship their Amazon orders. So think about how loose they were with money, with investors' money, to clarify, right? That sucks. That really, really, really sucks. No better way to spin that. All right, on to some crypto news. A lot of you guys are wondering what's going on with everything. Why is everything going up? Is BlackRock buying? Maybe. I just covered that story not yesterday. Last week about BlackRock buying Bitcoin, putting it into their 15 trillion global fund. A 15 trillion with a T fund. Who knows how much they bought? Who knows how much more they plan on buying, right? And it doesn't have to be just Bitcoin. But if they just spent 0.32% of that fund on Bitcoin, they could buy out all Bitcoin in circulation right now. That's how big that fund is, and that shows how much money they have if they were to try, theoretically. Doesn't mean that it's going to be that easy, but if they tried, technically. But yeah, maybe that's the reason why things are going up. Maybe because I've been showing you guys on-chain metrics and indicators that's been showing bottom levels for weeks upon weeks. Maybe that has something to do with it. But we're seeing a massive amount of money flowing in, not just with Bitcoin, but with altcoins. For example, Cardano. Cardano's up a good 12% today, right? 1.5 billion flew in. Why is that? Could it be that it was just very oversold, that there was too much panic selling, and now people are thinking, well, it's a good time to buy? I think that's the most likely scenario why it started going up. Same thing. People are wondering, why is Solana going up? At first, it was thought that maybe Boink was causing it to go up. But now that project died, why is it still going up? Well, could it be that it's just very, very, very oversold and people want to take advantage of oversold levels? Probably. And everything else like Polygon and Doge and BNB and everything else, what we're seeing is a good old FOMO buying, really. We're seeing investors that's been sitting out, holding a ton of stable coins, and now they're trying to buy back in because things are starting to move. That's what it seems like. But fundamentally, I've been sharing with you guys some of these big cap projects, mid cap projects, even some small cap projects, the ones that has been executing, fundamentally, nothing has changed. They're still great projects, and they still continue to push forward, right? That's what we're seeing. Now, as for Gala, they're a little bit different. I've been covering them recently. They have been making moves, and they really have been making moves over the last few days. They are up a staggering 67% in one single day, and that's on top of some of the recent climbs that we have seen as well. What is this big news? Well, it has to do with The Rock. Okay, that's why I put him in a thumbnail. So out of nowhere, Gala announced yesterday night that they are partnering up with Dwayne Johnson and Mark Wahlberg on 2 new films. Okay? I don't know what that means exactly, because Gala wants to get into filming. They have something called Gala Film, which it seems like they're going to be putting films on the blockchain. And in order to buy tickets and watch it, you need to use Gala tokens, which makes sense. But also, they explain that with these new movies that's coming out, right? You could also, on the tickets themselves, there'll be a QR code. And then you'll be able to scan that and get, NFTs, something that, something maybe exclusive from the movie, or maybe it's not exclusive. Maybe it's something just like an NFT ticket or something, right? That you could redeem. And, of course, you can resell on OpenSea, right? We don't know how far this goes, but the fact that they partnered up with 2 major movie stars on 2 major movies, not just one, but 2, that is a pretty big thing. This is why they pumped up 60-something% in a single day. And prior to that, why they were going up, because they're going into mobile too. They bought a mobile gaming studio with over 20 million users. Not only that, they also introduced the notion of token burning, that everything that is spent on chain will be burned. For example, if you use Gala tokens to buy movie tickets, those Gala will be burned, right? So they're introducing that as well. So these are all exciting stuff that just came out recently. Now, I've been a supporter of Gala for quite some time. I told you guys that the biggest reason that I guess the biggest draw for me, why I got into Gala in the first place, was the founder of Gala was a co-founder of Zynga Games. And you guys, most of you guys know Zynga, Farmville, and what is that, the other scrap, Words with Friends, and all these stuff that they came out with, right? He definitely knows how to go viral. He definitely knows how to go big. He definitely has connections, right? That was the biggest reason why I got drawn into Gala. But besides all this stuff, they have like 18 games in works right now, waiting to come out. They already have like 3 games out in their gaming platform. So they do seem like they're going to places. They're going to recover. But with that said, should you be FOMOing in something that's up 60-something%? The answer is no. I've said this about Boink. I said about anything else that has pumped up this much this fast. You don't want to get in when it's this high. You want to wait. Now, in terms of Boink, because it's a meme coin that people were just pumping and hyping up, you know, there's no point of waiting for that, okay? But for something like Gala, which I do believe won't come back strong, and they have so much things, it's definitely worth getting into if you're not in it already. But wait for it to kind of die down. Wait for it to slow down. You don't want to get in when it's like skyrocketing upwards, right? Wait until it cools down, consolidates before getting in, if you choose to do so. But that's just Gala. But everything else in the space today is seeing some greens, and I was kind of digging through some of these. ApeCoin up about 14% today. Lido up 17%, 16%. Lido is one of the biggest DeFi projects out there now. In terms of TVL, they are the biggest. And if you're looking at staking ETH for liquid staking, right, with liquid ETH, you know, Lido is definitely the leaders of that, although you could do so on Coinbase as well. You know, look at Filecoins up about 13%. And, a lot. Sandbox, Flow, big into NFTs and gaming, both up about 11, 12%. Decentraland up about 12%. You got Maker, 14%. They're also huge into DeFi, right? They have their own stable coin. Zilliqa up 48%. I missed that. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's something to do with their Metapolis, but man, they're up nearly 50% as well. They must have something big. Optimism, which is a layer 2. Gala, yeah, you could see. I mean, today's just a good day. You're getting rewarded for holding and DCAing, right? This is. We know this is gonna come. It's just sometimes it just takes a while, right? But will this continue? Well, that's the thing. Bitcoin has finally smashed through a crucial resistance, I would say, okay? It's a breakout moment right now, breaking above the 17,000. We know that Bears was trying very, 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 very hard to hold Bitcoin below 17,000. We finally broke through it, right? Are we going to continue? I believe so, because so many of the on-chain metrics and indicators and models and moving average and everything else that's measuring Bitcoin continues to get stronger, including addresses and holders, Bitcoin being removed off the exchanges. I mean, like literally everything that we could look at. And when we compare our current cycle to previous cycles, right? You're looking at the oversold levels. I mean, it's so similar. And let's not forget the 4-year cycle, right? How we're approaching the next halving cycle, and right around this time frame is when we usually see a recovery. Every single cycle has happened pretty much the same way, and we're right there once again. Even though we have some scary macro stuff and geopolitical stuff still ongoing, Bitcoin is doing its thing. It's continuing its path, and it gets stronger with every single cycle. So I don't expect that to change. So yeah, and plus the hash rate, the Bitcoin miners, there's been some talks about how some miners had to sell, right? But the hash rate is still continuing forward, still heading higher and forming new highs, because honestly, the bigger miners, they're not going anywhere. They haven't sold anything. The smaller miners have, but the big miners continue to hash away, continue to mine, continue to hoard all the Bitcoins that they have received. They're not releasing any of that. So even though, yes, there's new Bitcoins produced, are they really being circulated, or are they really just being held by the miners who are mining them? I'd say the latter. So really, what we're left with is what we have right now. So very exciting. Very, very exciting. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. U.S. market is still looking good today. So that's good. What's up today? Tesla up 6%. That is good. What about like Coinbase today? Coinbase up 9%. That is awesome. What about MicroStrategy? Up about 8%. That's awesome. Today, all around green day. Let's do some Q&A. Ricky says, I'm a little miner. I'm not selling anything like ever. That's the right mindset. How many miners do you have? I'm curious. When you say little miner, how many rigs do you have? Tiberius says, my chart's telling me 18 mids this week, plus I'm loving Lux Algo. It's good to hear. I bring it up periodically, but let's see here. Ooh, right here, strong buy. This is on the 15-minute. But yeah, if you're looking at the levels, I mean, if you zoom out a little bit, right, you could see right here. Here's a major level right here, but that's in the 20s. But the next stop is here because we did shoot back up here. So our previous or local high is about 18.4, right? That will be the next one we need to hit and break. And right now, according to Lux Algo, which is looking at the order books, there's a lot more longs than shorts at that level. And there's a lot more longs and shorts at the 22 level. So if we can get up there, these are all great things. These are all great signs. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Got Mike K, first time chat on Twitch. Welcome. In the Philippines right now, 10:44. That's not too late. That's not too late. And Hard Magic, appreciate it. Let me see. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. You haven't mentioned that ETH Networks is run by 4,300 nodes, 2,300 run on Amazon servers, while BTC is run by 50,000 nodes globally. Okay, so yes, BTC is more decentralized. There's no doubt about it. Some projects are more decentralized than others, but ETH is a lot more decentralized now than before. And there will be more that's coming into this space. So if your point is BTC is more decentralized than Ethereum, well, you're right. You're right. That's a true statement. Gerald Reed, I appreciate that. You seem more level-headed than most on YouTube. Well, thank you. One of my favorite projects building on Cosmos. I don't know about favorite projects, but I'm a big fan of Cosmos. I told you guys that. They are still working on interchain security, which is, I think, a big deal. Not a whole lot of projects do have that or working on something similar. Basically, it allows smaller projects coming in to borrow nodes from the main chain, which is Cosmos, and be able to rent node time and utilize the consensus and the security that's built in to the chain, so they don't have to develop their own. And this will give more use case for Atom tokens itself, because whoever wants to borrow the nodes have to use Atom to pay for it. I mean, so that's something big that, just like I think it's a cool thing to allow more dApps to come on board, and something that not a whole lot of chains are working on, if any. I don't know if any other chain allows that. Jolamas, the Bears got way too overconfident because of a freak year. The market spends 85% of the time on the way up. Can't wait for them to get wrecked. Well, that's why whenever I look at liquidations, I'm like, I don't wish anyone to be liquidated, but if I had to choose, of course, it would be the Bears, right? Let's see. I haven't checked it for a while. We should have within the last 4 hours. Ooh. Yeah, that's bear liquidation right there. So we're talking about like 65 million here, 82 million. We're talking about like a couple $100 million right there over a span of 12 hours, maybe 24 hours. Probably 250 million. We haven't seen a lot of that. We saw a little bit of it here, right? So we're seeing a lot less green spikes, more red spikes. Here's one at 40 million. Here's one at 61 million, 20 million. Here's a local group about like 25, 30 million. And this is probably like 200, 250 million. Finally, it's one of those days, brother. Lazaro. Yes. We'll take it. But I do believe this is the start of something. I predicted, late 2022, I said the first half of this year, I don't think it'll be great. I think more or less we see sideways movement, but we see a little recovery. And I think the second half of this year will be much, much better, right? So far, I know it's very early. It's just the second week or first week of January, second week of January. So we have a little good day, right? But you know what? I don't expect us to like reach back up to like 70,000 by April. No, but I do expect us to make slow and steady recovery upwards as the macro conditions improve and as Powell gets more dovish, right? So that's kind of what I'm expecting. So it's good. It's good to see some momentum right now, for sure. Optimism releasing 3 billion coin to circulation. I didn't know about that. Not sure why. Maybe it's an unlock, maybe. OK Coin Exchange and Pi Network. I'm neutral on both. There's too many people talking about Pi, and there's too many people saying that it's basically a one giant scam. So honestly, I haven't really paid attention to Pi. OK Coin Exchange, never used them, so can't really comment on them. Lee Scott, new member. Welcome. Shafia Ahmad. Did you retire early or are you financial free? Yes and yes. Although I'm not really retired because I'm still streaming basically twice a day. But financially free, yes. Moonbeam is flying. Yes. What token is everyone sleeping on that could be a surprise token for next bull run? Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of projects that are down like 90-something%, right? So you could say all the ones I've been covering, all the L1s, L2s, in the next bull run, just to get back to their previous highs, they have to go up like 10x. I mean, that's huge. And then I think a lot of them will go up higher than 10x to break through their previous high and go up another 10x, right? So we're talking like maybe 20, 25x from here. And there's so many. And they don't need to be hidden projects. I mean, like Cardano, or I don't know, you could throw like Polkadot or Solana or Sheep, Cosmos. These guys have to go up like 10x just to get back to their previous high, and then to go 10x more. I mean, these are not surprise projects. I mean, there's so many, you know, that could be flying in the next bull cycle. All right, I think we're a little too early to talk about the next bull cycle because it's probably not gonna come until 2020, latter half of 2024 after the halving event. But still, leading up to it, I think we could see a really good recovery for sure. Shout out from Dublin, Ireland. Welcome. Hold all my BTC. That's the right way to do it. Is that Glassnode you're using for liquidation charts? No, CoinGlass. Well, MicroStrategy is still going up more. Wow, Coinbase up 12%. I mean, even Coinbase, right? Coinbase has been decimated since its IPO, like down like 90% or something like that. They peaked out at 256. Their high was at 368 at one point. That's crazy. So yeah, they're like down 90% from their 368 mark. So even somewhere like Coinbase right now, their stock is extremely attractive, right? That's why Cathie Wood has been buying, even though she did, sell off Coinbase earlier to buy other stocks which have tanked more. But she's buying back Coinbase, buying back MicroStrategy. I don't know if she's buying MicroStrategy, but buying GBDC, which should be up today too. Yeah, about 6%. Although I think if you're thinking about buying GBDC, you might as well just buy Bitcoin. Unless you just can't hold Bitcoin, I just don't see any logical reason to buy GBDC over Bitcoin. Do you take profits in these relief rallies or keep holding? Well, it depends. If you don't have any dry powder, you don't have any cash on side, you've been all in, right? Maybe you should think about taking some out, just so in case that things come down, right? You could buy more. That it really depends on your situation. If you have plenty of cash on the side, taking out now may not be the wisest choice, but it also depends on if you're down or not. If you bought in low and you're up, 10, 20, 30% already, yeah, then go ahead. But if you're holding because you're still down and you're DCAing, well, then it makes no sense to also sell at this point, right? So it really depends on your situation. But I still advise people to hold a good amount of cash. I would say, anywhere from 20, 25, 30% of your portfolio in cash is still very advisable, allows you to continue DCA and buy the dips if they do come, right? Lee Scott says, please don't use Moneyline LLC. I never heard of that. It sounds very suspicious. Hard Magic, appreciate it. Man, got a lot of people watching on Rumble, but no one talking. Old Saucy, good morning. No one talking on Rumble for some reason. Am I still carnivore? No, I'm more like keto. But honestly, I gotta admit that I fell off the bandwagon over the holidays because I took a vacation, and then because when I came back, I had relatives. So about maybe like 2 weeks, kind of fell off the bandwagon a little bit. I've started again, so going to be hardcore on it. On keto, I don't think I could get back on carnivore because I do like to eat some vegetables every so often. JR, I already covered it. In case you're wondering, Gala is pumping because they are working on a movie with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg. I think a lot of people are just excited about that. Gala has also been oversold. It's down like 90. It was down like 95%, right? So extremely oversold. But, you know, recently they announced some exciting stuff, including this one. Working on 2 films with Mark and Dwayne and getting films onto their Gala films, which will be on the Gala, chain. I don't know if these 2 are going to be exclusive on the chain. If so, I mean, that would be a game changer, but I don't know about that. They also have Gala Music, but I looked at it. I'm not so sure they have much traction in Gala Music yet, but they could. And of course, they have a ton of games. They bought Mobile Studio, and they're introducing coin burning. These are all great things. Man, Coinbase is just flying today. Today is crypto day. Almost 14% for Coinbase. What is Tesla? Tesla's at 8%. You know, when Tesla last week, when it was around 100, right, I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to risk it. I bought an open call for Tesla at 150 by the end of this year for December. I'm probably up like 50% on that call already. I had just a small little amount of money in my brokerage account. I'm like, hey, what the hell? I think they're oversold. That buy looks pretty good right now. Today is just a green day. Today's a great day. It's like, no matter how you slice it, today's good for everyone, except the Bears. Peter Schiff. I didn't even check his Twitter. I'm pretty sure if you go to Peter Schiff's Twitter, he posted something like, hey, don't be fooled by today's pump. You know, it's going to go back to 0. I'm pretty sure there's something like that on Peter Schiff's Twitter. This is frustrating. Have dry powder on the side with buy orders, waiting for a dump, yet it pumps. Then when I think, okay. So, I mean, deep random thinker, this is why. Sometimes it's fine to have dry powder, and you don't have to go all in. When you have a feeling, you're like, I should buy. It doesn't mean go all in. But you know what? Sometimes you have a feeling, things are looking good. Go for it. Or just set a schedule. I know people don't like to do that. I think most people in this space don't like to set a schedule, but I know many people that have set a schedule that have, done very well. Fifth Nail, welcome. Oh, now we got conversation going on Rumble after I talked about it. Someone says, Source FM says, Bitcoin gets hacked, then what? Then what? Everything gets hacked. Target has been hacked. Home Depot has been hacked. Banks have been hacked. Okay, it happens. Bitcoin, however, has never been hacked. This is 14-year history. Maybe at the very first year, but 13 years after that has never been hacked because it's virtually impossible to hack Bitcoin. The network itself can't be hacked. But wallets could be hacked, especially if people don't know what they're doing with their recovery phrase or their passwords, right? Exchanges could be hacked. But Bitcoin is not being hacked. Have I tested GTR? No, I have not. I've been waiting. I've never driven GTR. You know, ever since Nissan introduced it, I think you're talking about the Nissan GTR. I have not tested it, but it's so old now. And Nissan, when Nissan first introduced GTR, it was amazing because it was like $70,000, and it was outperforming $250,000 exotic cars. But now GTR is like $150. It's not cheap anymore. And plus, the new Corvette, you know, basically dethroned it as the most affordable exotic car, I guess. I don't know, not exotic car, sports car. But the performance is just amazing. So I don't know if Nissan's giving up on a GTR or not. What do you think is causing a pump? Well, the obvious thing is someone's buying, right? Someone's buying, drove a lot of short squeezes. Oh, you can see right now, Bitcoin's pumping up. A little bit. I mean, I will say the short-term indicators do show that Bitcoin's a little bit overbought short term. So I don't know how much this could go during the stream, but later on today it could definitely keep going. But whoever's buying, is it BlackRock? Is it MicroStrategy? Who's buying? I have no idea, but someone's definitely buying, and it's driving more FOMO into this space. And then you can see that's why, even though Bitcoin's up slightly, only like 2%, but most altcoins today are up way more than 2%, right? And BTC dominance fell down to 39%. So this is also the reason why I've been saying be diversified, because when things get good, altcoins definitely carry your portfolio. And if your purpose is to get as much Bitcoin as possible, right? There's only two ways to do that. You either buy more Bitcoin, or you buy altcoins and then eventually sell it for Bitcoin because you're making more money with it. It could help accelerate that too. So even Bitcoin maxis, I would argue, you would want to buy altcoins, although I know they won't. Do you think current EV is good, or do you think it needs an improvement in range, charge speed? I think that there's probably two big problems with the EV. One, and a lot of people are starting to notice this, EV range in cold sucks. Okay, Teslas, it doesn't matter if it's a Ford Lightning or or a Tesla Model Y. EV range goes down by up to like 50% in the cold weather, which really sucks. That's number one. And number two is charging. No matter what, if you're taking a long road trip, right? For example, recently I went to Toronto and I went with my friend. He was driving Model Y. I was driving my Mercedes. And, filling up at the gas pump is no more than 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you want to use the bathroom, buy something, 10 minutes off, away you go. And for him, that's just not the case. He spends at least, over the course of that run, I think he stopped 3 times, but, at least an hour to charge. So charging is still, no matter how fast charging is on EV cars, for a long road trip, it still kind of sucks. It's still way longer than a gas pump. And, that will improve, but it's not quite there yet. And plus, if you're outside Tesla, the charging stations are very limited. You don't have nearly as many as Tesla supercharging. So if you don't have a Tesla, it sucks even more. All right, guys. Anything else? Buffett. No, great to see George live streaming on Rumble. I try to do what I can, live streaming everywhere these days. Although it's still very hard to get Twitch going. Only 9 people on Twitch. Did you, Dave? If you didn't swear it, people would actually see it. But I can see you're excited about Moonbeam. Rivian can haul, but Rivian's about to go bankrupt. They can't sell at all. That's the problem with these new EV manufacturers. They got very overhyped. Their stock went way too high. But now people are realizing that they can't really sell their cars at all. Man, look at Coinbase. Now it's at 14.4%. Wow. That's nutty. That's nutty. But then again, you know, we've seen -7 days, -7, -10% days for Coinbase, so that's worse. Twitch is still the same. CryptosRUs. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Enjoy your day. Today is a good day for Bitcoin, crypto, for stocks, for everyone outside the bears. As long as you're long and you're a bull, you're fine. If you're a bear, you're not feeling it today, and there's a lot of liquidations today. This will probably increase to like 300, 400 million by the end of the day. So, not good for bears, but we don't care because we're long, right? But enjoy, guys. There's probably more of this to come. So tune in tonight, and we'll look at what else has happened. 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Take care, guys. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and have a good one. Bye-bye.